what is a template driven form and how it works. So now this is one example we learned about template driven. How to access the data from a form attribute and form object and control objects. So this is for that we used ng model and ng form for configuring the forms and models. So one of the main point about template driven is everything is handled at a controller level, template level. That means it will be handled at the view level. Now, while working with template driven forms, another important point you need to know is about validation. So form validation. Generally, this is one of the key feature. So that means client-side technologies are mostly used in combination of server-side technologies in real-world projects for so many reasons, and one of those reasons, the major is validation. Actually, the main intention of using JavaScript, jQuery, Angular with server-side technologies is handle client-side interactions and reduce burden on server. Lot of things are handled client-side. Out of that, one key point is validation also. So validation is nothing but it is validation. Validation is the process of verifying user input. So when user inputs a value, we have to verify the user input. That means validation is required to ensure that contradictory and unauthorized data is not get stored into database. That is one of the important point about validation. That means technically we require validation to make sure that contradictory values, unauthorized values. Contradictory means the type of value you are expecting and the type of value user inputs are not matching. That is contradictory. Unauthorized means you are expecting specific range of value, but input value is out of that range. That is unauthorized. So validation is required to make sure that contradictory and unauthorized data is not get stored into the database. That is one of the important point about validation. And generally JavaScript, jQuery, like client-side libraries and languages handle validation by using functions and logic. But one of the advantage in Angular is Angular provides a set of services to handle validation. Client side. Angular provides a set of services, ready-made. Some services are provided. By using these services, you can handle validation client side. So it's very easy to handle the validation by using services. So technically, validation services. So Angular provides, service. Service means it have inbuilt some functions. Those functions will verify the values and they will return whether valid or not. So less code and you can achieve what you are looking for. You don't need to write much code. So you don't need to write much logic. One of the great advantages is Angular validation services will make use of HTML validations. HTML have some validations. It will make use of those validations. HTML validations means like HTML validations are required min length, max length, pattern. All these are email. All these are URL. All these are HTML validations actually. Actually, if you know HTML, HTML5 have input type is equal to email. I think you know that it will validate email by default. And you can use min length. Min length is equal to 10 characters. You can set max length. Max length is equal to some 15 characters. You can even set pattern. Pattern is equal to A-Z. So this is so 10 to 15 characters, uppercase only. You can even set required attribute. These are HTML validations. Now Angular will make use of these validations and verify whether they are matching or not. And immediately it shows an validation error if not matching. So additionally, you don't need to write any logic. Whatever the validations are provided by HTML, Angular will take control of them. By using them, it will verify. You may ask then why we cannot use only HTML? Why to use Angular again? Because we need validation dynamically. As per the state and situation, they have to work. So these are static. And one problem is on every browser, they will not be same. Another problem is, so validations, sometimes we need our own. That means we don't want just what they provided. We want our own validations. So in that case, we have to write our own validations also. Generally, we call as custom validation. So Angular have a set of validation services. By using them, you can verify whether input value is valid or not. And validation services are categorized into two groups. Validation services are categorized into two groups. One is form